Attention Walmart shoppers, there's a big management change at the world's largest retailer. Walmart CEO Mike Duke will be stepping down in February. Replacing him, Doug McMillon, a 23-year company veteran who's currently head of the chain's international division. He will be only the fifth chief executive at the company since it was founded by Sam Walton. Now, the news came just days before Black Friday. This is the critical kickoff for holiday sales. But it looks like investors approved of the changes. Walmart shares rose, even touching fresh all-time highs in intraday trading, before settling at $80, nearly 1% higher. As shoppers, workers, and investors prepare to meet the new boss, many are wondering what changes may be in store with the new CEO. Courtney Reagan takes a look.
Mike Duke will be retiring after 5 years as Walmart's CEO and 18 years with the company. During his time at the helm, Duke has dealt with sluggish sales as a result of a recovering economy, as well as allegations of bribery in Mexico and criticism over employee pay and benefits. All three issues are ongoing. Walmart shares have gained 66% during Duke's tenure as CEO. While impressive, it's vastly underperformed the broader S&P Retail Index, which has increased more than 244% over the same time period. Duke is largely regarded for his expertise in distribution, valuable knowledge for someone running the world's largest retailer. While incoming CEO Doug McMillon also has distribution expertise, he's known more as a merchant, with key experience running the company's international segments. Walmart's U.S. segment is its largest by far, but international is where the future growth is.
My initial take was that Doug was certainly an heir apparent. There was another potential heir apparent too in Bill Simon, who runs Walmart U.S.
I think Doug McMillon's been groomed for this position, been CEO in training for some time.
But why announce the CEO transition now, during the company's self-proclaimed busiest week of the year? Because Mike Duke announced his retirement at the company's November board meeting. That's when McMillon was voted on as the successor, nearly mirroring the timing of Lee Scott's retirement and Mike Duke's succession 5 years ago.
Doug McMillon.
McMillon has spent his career at Walmart and is expected to continue to work on polishing the company's public image while re-attracting shoppers and their dollars at a time when its core consumer spends with caution and competition heats up with more convenient dollar store rivals and online behemoth Amazon nipping at its tail. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Courtney Reagan.
And with us now to talk more about Walmart's management changes and what it all means for the company is J.P. Eggers, professor of management at New York University's School Stern of Business. Professor, welcome back. Why now, and what does Doug McMillon signal for Walmart?
Well, I'll admit the exact timing's a little curious, being the week of Black Friday, but I think in general they're looking for a transition after the holiday season, and which means you need to announce it enough in advance that everyone's ready for the transition. As far as what McMillon's going to bring, I mean, I think this is clearly a doubling down on the business as usual in many ways. He's got broad experience in distribution, but certainly in merchandising, as you were discussing as well, and international, the kind of saying that, look, the existing brick and mortar store business and the international business is kind of where they're seeing growth and the need to push in the future.
But JP, you heard Courtney's report talking about a lot of the issues there, sluggish sales, that bribery scandal in Mexico. What do you think is the most important thing that Doug McMillon is going to have to deal with, and can he fix all of these things?
Well, I mean, to answer the second question first, to some extent, I think he's got the right portfolio of skills. Again, he's been being groomed for a long period of time. They've gotten him into a number of different roles. They've had him in the international. They've had him in Sam's Club. He's been very involved in merchandising and store operations. As far as what they need to do, they really need to manage international growth effectively, because they can kind of very easily kind of figure out how to fix things in the same store sales in the U.S., but figuring out how to kind of open the new stores, get into those new countries, and build out the new systems is a big piece of the plan going forward.
He comes out of the international business there. Is he at all tainted by that Mexican bribery scandal that broke about a year or so ago? And how big a problem is that for him and for Walmart?
So I can't see any real reason why he would be tainted by that. He was running Sam's Club in the U.S. at that point in time, and I can't see any reason why anybody looking in any real detail would say that he would have had any real knowledge. As for the potential implications for Walmart overall, given the importance of international expansion, this is going to be a potential hurdle to overcome in certain places where bribery is seen as kind of not a way of doing business. But the reality is there are many countries around the world where this is not a surprising finding to see this coming to light in some way. And while there'll be big and important questions and certainly some potential monetary fines, it will be something that Walmart should be able to handle going forward, I would expect.
And what about competition? I mean, boy, this retail industry is so competitive. There are a lot of newcomers coming in, like the Amazons of the world, big companies that are trying new things. And then you've got the discounters and all of that. Who do you see as Walmart's biggest competition, and what do they have to do to get ahead of it?
So certainly in the U.S., Target, and potentially these dollar store companies coming from underneath, but then Amazon, I would say Target and Amazon in the U.S. would be by far the two biggest competitors. They have the interesting situation that in many of the foreign countries they're looking at and targeting, there's different competitors in different locations, and so there's not kind of one big clear one. I think in the short term, they're clearly focusing on the brick and mortar sales by kind of focusing in with Macmillan and going that direction, looking at Target, looking at the dollar stores, looking at grocery chains, and saying that the Amazon thing will kind of have to be put off as they continue to try and grow their online presence.
Very quickly, he may be part of Walmart's old guard, but he's a young guy. He could be there 15, 20 years.
There's no question. I mean, it's a very young guy coming into a very senior role. As I said before, they've been grooming him for a while. But this is, I think, certainly the hope would be that this is a very long-term solution. Walmart certainly has looked for long-term as opposed to short-term solutions at the top. So I would expect that they're hoping the same thing in this case.
JP, thank you very much. JP Eggers is professor of management at New York University's Stern School of Business.